Hello everyone, welcome back. So in today's video we are diving deeper into Azure Active Directory as it's now called Microsoft Entra ID. In my previous video we explored what Azure Active Directory is, how identities and identity providers works, and we also looked at how to manage individual user access with real-time demo. But today we are taking it one step ahead. We are going to focus on Azure Entra ID Groups. So in this video, we'll cover everything you need to know about groups. That is number one, what are groups in Entra ID, type of groups and their differences, why groups are so important in access management, how to create and manage groups in Azure Portal, and how to assign roles and permission to the groups. And finally, we'll move to the hands-on demo where we will create groups in Azure, assign the roles, and use a React app to see how access management works at the group level in real time. So if you have ever wondered how enterprise manages user access efficiently without assigning the permissions individually, this video will clear everything up. So without wasting any time, let's quickly understand what Azure Active Directory is and then jump right into the understanding Azure AD Groups. So now let's first understand what Azure Active Directory or Azure AD actually is. Basically, Azure Active Directory, now call it as Microsoft Entra ID, is a cloud-based identity and access management service from Microsoft. It helps employees to sign in securely and access resources like Microsoft 365, Azure services, and third-party applications. In very simple terms, you can think of it as a digital gatekeeper that verifies who you are and what you are allowed to access. So I have already explained all of these in detail, including what identity is and identity providers are, and how authentication works in my previous video. So if you have not watched that yet, I highly recommend you to check it out first for a complete understanding. So in this video, we'll take a quick recap of concepts and move straight into the main topic, that is Azure AD groups, their types and importance. So what exactly are groups in Azure AD? Simply put, a group is a collection of users. Instead of assigning permissions individually to every single user, we can assign them to a group, which makes access management much simpler and more efficient. So let's understand this with very simple example. Suppose we have 100 employees in our company, out of which 40 are developers and 60 are testers. Now if we go and assign permissions manually to each developer and tester, it is going to be very time consuming and hard to manage. So instead we can simply create two groups, one for developer and one for tester, and then assign required permissions to those groups. So whenever a new tester joins, we just add them into the tester group and instantly they get all the permissions that the group has. The same goes for developer group. This makes user management scalable, consistent, and secure. And that's exactly why groups play such a crucial role in Azure AD. So now let's quickly look at why these groups are so important. So simply, it is very simplified access controls. So managing permissions for a single group instead of 100 of individual users. So then number two, that is nothing but role-based access. So you can create a group like admin, editor, or viewer and assign access level based on the roles with your app or the organization, and according to that access level, user can access the applications. Then number three, scalability. Especially in large enterprise, group makes it easy to manage thousands of users through few well-defined roles. And number four, supports conditional access and dynamic memberships. Group allow you to apply conditional access policies and create dynamic membership rules, so user can automatically add or remove based on the predefined conditions. So overall, Azure AD Groups makes access management smarter, faster, and more secure. So now that we know what groups are and why it is so important, let's move ahead and understand the type of groups available in Azure Active Directory. So basically there are three main type of groups. That is number one, security group, Microsoft 365 groups, and dynamic groups. So let's go through them one by one. So basically, a security group is used to manage access to resources such as apps, files, and share folder for a specific set of users. For example, let's say we have a developer group and admin group, and we can assign different permissions to these groups, like who can deploy apps, who can access database, or who can manage the resources. So instead of assigning permissions individually, we can assign them once to the group, and all the members automatically get the same access. These groups are mainly used for role-based access control, we call it as RBAC, and security management in both Azure resource and application. Then second group, that is Microsoft 365 group. A Microsoft 365 group is a bit different. It's not just about access, it's about collaboration. When you create a Microsoft 365 group, it automatically provides a shared workspace that includes a shared mailbox in Outlook, a shared calendar, a SharePoint site, and planner board, and even a Teams workspace. So for example, a marketing team or HR team can have their own Microsoft 365 group, and everyone in that group can collaborate using all these tools easily. So in short, 365 groups are perfect when you want to enable teamwork and communicate with your organization. And number third group is dynamic group. A dynamic group is a powerful automation feature in Entra ID. Here, group membership is updated automatically based on user attributes or conditions that you define. For example, if we create a dynamic rule like department equal finance, then all the users whose department attribute is set to finance will automatically become a part of this group, and if someone moves out from the finance, they will automatically remove. This makes it super easy to scale and maintain access control in large organizations without having to manually add or remove users. So to summarize, security groups manage access and permissions. Microsoft 365 group enables collaboration through shared tools, and dynamic groups automate membership management based on conditions. So now that we know all three type of groups, let's jump to the Azure portal and see how to create these groups step by step, and then we'll move to the hands-on demo where we will connect everything with our React app and to see group-based access in action. So once we log into the Azure portal, then we'll be navigating to this landing page or the dashboard of the Azure portal, where we will see all the services that we can choose and create from the Azure portal. So now to create groups, we have to go, or we have to select the Microsoft Entra ID. So here is the option. If the option is not available on the screen, then we can do the global search and simply click or type Entra ID, and let's select this Entra ID. And then once we click on the Entra ID option, then we'll be navigating to this window or the overview page of the Microsoft Entra ID, where we will see a couple of options on, you can see on the side menu. So the users and groups and many more. So we'll simply click on groups, then we'll again navigating to this group overview page, where we have to create this, or we have to create, if the group is not present, then we have to create a new group. So let's click on new group. We'll be navigating to this new group creation page, where we have to select the group type, that is security, but there are another option, that is Microsoft 365, if we are using for the organizations or the team specific group Microsoft 365, but we are doing this for the demo purpose, so we'll use the security one. Then we have to give the name to that group, so we'll use app underscore admins, and then we don't need to add the group description, but if you want, you can add as per your requirement. Now we have to select the member, so let's simply click on new member selected option, and then there are a couple of tabs. You can see all groups, all users, groups, device, and enterprise applications. So there are a couple of groups that are already present if you see on the enterprise applications, but now we'll only use for, we will add the users. So I'll select this one and then simply click on select. So now we have done with the group. We have added the group type, group name, and the member. So simply click on create, and you can see creating the group, which is, and now successfully created the group. So now we have created one group, Now again I have to create one more group to see the admin and the viewer access. So again let's click on the same option. We'll keep the group type as is, give the name app underscore viewers, and again we'll select the user and then simply click on create. So now we have created two groups. Again go to the all group page, and here you will see the two groups that we just created will be listed over here. So app underscore admin and app underscore viewers along with the details. So once we click on this app underscore admin group, then we'll be navigating to this overview page of this newly created group, and here all the details are mentioned. So the membership type, which is assigned, so security, and the object ID. This is very important. The object ID, suppose we have to map the group access to particular applications, then according to that object ID we will assign or will grant the access. So and number of members which is present on the group we can see, and we can restrict the roles and administration over here, and we can see the members which is present on the group. We can see the member that we selected which is listed over here, we can see on that. So again go to the home, and now we have to register the app. So now we have created two groups, admin and viewers. So we have to register the app. So for that we have to click on this app registration, but we can simply click on, if the option is not present on the dashboard or the home page, so we will simply click on app registration. The option will be filtered, and then once we click, then again we'll navigating to this new app registration page where there is one option, new registration. So simply click on this new registration, and we'll be navigating to this new registration page where we have to add the app name. So I'll add TA React Group Demo, and then the supported account type will use the default one as is, but as per the requirement you can change as per the multi-tenant and other options. So I'll use the default one, and then redirect URI where you'll use single page application option, and then here we'll add this HTTP redirect URI localhost 3000, and then simply click on register. You can see creating the application, and now application is created successfully, and we'll see all the details of that newly created application. So the display name, the application or the client ID, which is this one, then the object ID of our newly registered app, and then the tenant ID and all the details. So now we have to add the token. So now we have to do the token configuration. So here is an option on the side menu, you can see this token configuration. So simply click on this token configuration, and here we have to add the group claims. So simply click on this add group claims, and once we click, then this right on the right corner the edit group claims option will be getting enabled. So we have to select this option, that security groups, and then simply click on add, and now the groups are getting, or the claims are getting added to the group for the token configuration, where so we'll be enable the ID and access token once we try to log in through the application and see the access are granted or not. So now we have done with this Azure setup where we have created two groups. One is for admin and another is for viewers, and then we have done with the app registrations, then we done with the token configuration. So now let's quickly jump to the VS Code where I have created the React app. In that I have just designed the simple login page. Once we user click on the login page, then we'll be navigating to the uh, login window where user need to add the credentials, and according to the groups that we added and the access that we given to the particular user, then we'll see how the users can access the application or not. So let's simply go to the VS Code where I have created a simple React app. So in that I have designed one login page. So for before that I'll show you the app.js file. Here I have used this Microsoft authentication library for React. So let's do npm start, and once the application is loaded, then you will see this is the landing page or the UI or login page that I have designed. So Azure AD or Entra ID Group demo, I will open it in the inspect mode to see the network calls once we try to log in using this Azure Entra ID. But before that, we have to add our group object ID for admin group and viewer group. So let's again go to the Azure portal, and here let's again go to this Microsoft Entra ID groups. Then let's go to the app admin group and then copy the object ID of the admin group and just replace it over here. And let's do the same thing for viewer. Do the same. And then here is one auth config file where we have to define our client ID and tenant ID of our application. So for that, we have done the app registration. So let's go to the app registration applications that we created, TA React group demo. Here, this is the client ID that we have to copy, and then we have to replace for the client ID the tenant ID, which is required to authenticate through login in Microsoft Azure. So let's simply click on save. Let's go to the UI, refresh one more time, and let's simply click on login. And you can see it is navigating to this sign in to your account through Microsoft Edge page, and here it took my previously login mail ID, that is ame.agnihotri@yahoo.com, and it asks for the permission. So let's simply click on accept, and you can see the token is getting generated in the network call and the response that we get. And in the UI, it printed with this the user ID that we used, and the admin dashboard access is granted, and the viewer access is also getting granted because we have added the same user in both the groups. So access for admin and viewer will be available to see. So now again we'll do one thing. So we'll remove this user from this viewer group, and then we'll try to log in through one more time, and then we'll see how the viewer access is getting granted or not. So let's simply click on logout one more time. Let's go Azure portal. Again, let's go here, the Microsoft Entra ID groups. Let's go to viewer, and then on the members, let's select this member and just remove this member from this group. So now it is removed. Let's refresh. Now the member is not present. So again, go to the UI. Let's clear everything. Let's click on login, and you can see only admin dashboard access is getting granted. Now viewer access is now removed. So that's it. So in this way you can manage the access using the groups and add the multiple users to the particular group and grant the access without adding individual users. So in this way we can easily manage user access in Azure without accessing permission individually. Instead, you can simply add users to a specific group and their access rights will be automatically be handled based on the group permissions. And that's all about Microsoft Entra ID groups. I hope you now have a clear understanding of how groups are created, how members are getting added, and how app registration works, how application validate access based on the group membership and assign roles. So let's do a quick recap what we covered in this video so far. We started by understanding what Microsoft Entra ID is, then we explore what groups are, their importance, and how they simplify access management. We also looked at the type of groups, security, Microsoft 365, and dynamic groups with real-world examples. And after that, we jump into the Azure portal where we created two sample groups, one for admin and another is for viewers. And finally, we connected everything with React app to demonstrate how access control works at the group level, where users from different groups see different dashboards and permissions. So if you found this video very helpful, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to support the channel. And if you have any questions or doubt, feel free to drop them in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you. And as I always say, keep learning, happy coding, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a great day.